I do. Those
are
really good.
Well, who doesn't like hi?
We are live from Gallifrey.
Woo!
We have a new companion this week.
Hello.
Justin Cuizon.
Keys on.
Cuizon. Oh, I'm so sorry.
See ya.
Well, wow, that's it. That's it. So you gotta get my name, push the mic over, and walk off.
Keys on.
Man, in my brain, I have been mispronouncing your name from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got that cleared.
We got that cleared.
Keys on, but it's like, yeah, you're like, oh man, quiz,
it's fine
because you want to ask questions because he has the answers.
Like,
I mean, like,
when have you ever talked to me by my last name? So I think it's totally fair.
Okay, that makes sense. That's
right.
But now that you know, you make the mistake again, you're gone. That's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you, he's. Oh, jeez, you see that?
That was like
right. I was like, you're gone. Everything shook.
Well, no, come back. It's okay. It's cool. You can say my name however you like, okay?
And our new companion, Justin Cuizon.
Hi.
But yeah, we are
He's
here.
my Graham. No, not really.
It's okay.
I think I'm older than him.
And we are keeping together with our glasses aesthetic on the show as well.
No, that's true. Yeah.
That's my opinion. But
it's copywritten. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, the audience kind of at this point already knows like our connection to Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. So. What brought you to Doctor Who? How long have you been watching it? Who's your favorite Doctor? Favorite companion?
Yeah.
Okay, so Doctor Who's one of this was like when the relaunch came out. It was one of those things where like a bunch of my friends were already saying like, "Oh no, I'm loving it. You'll get into it." And I had like a vague trying out Doctor Who thing when like the Fox movie came out. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember trying that movie and being like, oh, it's kind of neat, kind of confusing. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I tried one old like Doctor Who episode, and it was the wrong one to watch if you've never seen it.
The older ones, they're kind of rough in general. I haven't even watched all of them.
Like this is by far the worst one to start off with. It was the 5 Doctors.
Oh, wow! There is so much happening in that.
And there's so many other episodes that you could have chosen from.
Well,
the 5 Doctors goes over Time Lord politics and everything in that moment.
When I was a kid, I just saw like, oh, it has a bunch of them. So I figured like that was a good way of getting to know it. No, totally got lost. And so I didn't try it for a while.
Wow.
But my friends just kept telling me how much they loved it. They loved the new show, and then they loved like Chris, and then they fell in love with David. And like
it's a big one.
Eventually, like I just like had enough, and I went, all right. Let me borrow someone's DVD.
Yeah, because you do kind of have to watch them all together. Each Doctor, it does take a little bit of time to find out their character and to like really kind of attach yourself to them.
So I don't know what it was, but I got Series 4.
Okay.
So I started with Series 4, Donna's season.
Interesting.
And so that was my first series. And I'm like, okay, all right, I can try this out. And then like I got to the end, and then my friends would notice like how much I wouldn't shut up about it. And then like, I was like, I grew up like loving like Buffy and like Firefly, etc.
Yeah.
And I was talking about it to the same degree I was talking about those shows.
Guys, I can never turn left again.
Yeah.
Like, what? I can see that.
That whole episode made me cry. But like,
yes, it did.
And like, eventually my friends were like, so you like it, right? I went, oh, have I been talking about it a lot? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I love it. It's great. So I've been sticking through since, and I've been like caught up with the rest, and like teetered on watching old shows, and like there was a couple like I love from the old series. So like I've grown to like becoming just like, okay, full on, I'm a Doctor Who guy. So,
well, we're so glad that you're here and that
Yeah,
you are
right?
a Whovian.
Yes, like welcome.
Thank
so
you.
glad.
Oh, and to answer your question, Matt.
Okay, all right.
Matt, but old Doctor Patrick Troughton.
Okay.
Second one.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Companion?
Companion. Oof. That's a good question.
That is a hard one.
That's a hard one.
And
yeah.
Forrest Jr. in the chat also says, love Donna. Donna is my favorite
yep,
companion.
see?
That
Yeah,
is
a lot of
one of the
people-
most heartbreaking endings to me.
Donna, I have a very, because Donna was my 1st, like I have a very like kind of personal connection to that one, because she was the first companion I sat through.
Okay.
But I also really did love Amy and Rory.
The Pawns.
Right.
I love them so much.
So yeah, it's a hard one. It's hard.
Wow.
You know, like I even love Martha.
Really?
I do love Martha. I know some people don't like Martha.
No, some people don't. That's why I was like,
No,
I'm
I
shocked.
do like Martha. There's a couple things I I'm not crazy about that season.
But she has one of my favorite episodes, and she's not even in it.
Was it
Blink?
Blink, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's like 3 episodes in that season in a row that I'm like, this is amazing.
Oh man.
And it started with Blink. Yeah.
Yeah. Blink, Midnight, and oh my God, there are so many.
And so, are you caught up with all of the? We have our new doctor, Jodie Whittaker.
Yes.
And have you been keeping up with the season?
Absolutely.
And what do you think about her?
This is gonna be interesting because I haven't really been watching. No offense, I've been really watching your guys' show yet. And part of me is like, I kind of want to, like, I don't know what my feeling
and process.
is.
No, I kind of get that too. I'm like that with shows where you want to sit and process on your own, but now that you're here in this community, we're having this dialogue, you got to kind of
and there's like
out there.
And there's like 6 episodes in, so I will say I really, really like it. And I love Jodie.
Okay.
I think Jodie, like, it just got the character fast. Like, it didn't take long for me to go, oh, she's the doctor.
Now, here's the question. What and who does she remind you of?
In terms of other doctors?
Yeah?
I don't know. It hasn't really clicked to me if she reminds me of anybody else. Is there...
If I said Matt Smith and Tennant mixed together, would you say yes or no?
I would say there's an element of Matt for sure.
Because Matt was very popular, so that kind of young naivety kind of personality, like goofy and carefree and very like open with his emotions and very like, no, I like you, I will protect you immediately, I don't even need to know you. And I feel like that's what kind of Jodie Whittaker, the writers are kind of giving to her.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I think there's a couple times I was watching this episode and reminded of Matt. You know, so I see it. I do see it.
Okay.
And immediately calls her companions friends. And I feel like Smith is like always like, no, the pawns. They are never my companions. You're the pawns.
Yes.
And so it has that kind of familiarity with like the character or the other people that she encounters, which I think is really good.
I like it.
But we are also here to talk about this week's episode, which is, I already can't remember the title. Return. Demons of the Punjab.
I was wondering, like, is that... Demons in the Punjab is very interesting when you do think about it, because you put it together and you're just like, wow, okay, like, there is a whole thing when it comes to India when it deals with demons and Ifrit and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So it was kind of, like, really smart that, well, when you don't know what else to call them, it's like, oh, well, they're demons.
Yeah.
Just call them a demon and move on, you know? That's all you're going to do. And the end of the story. And it was like, I like that idea. I like that aesthetic, because it just runs well. It just runs well, and it fits culturally.
Yeah.
So I dug that. I just
and the thing is, we find out that they, like the monster of the week that we have on screen right now, I like the writing of the season where the monsters aren't really monsters. They're not the biggest thing that they are battling. Like in this particular episode, the real monster, I would say, is like prejudice and hatred.
Right.
But we have these quote unquote demons. And what did you guys think about them? Just kind of.
Oh man, I was trying to pick apart their costume.
I thought it had a little bit of like a Wakanda feel.
It
almost,
did,
like
right?
The
I was
helmets,
like,
and like the.
I adore like the weird bat-ish element of them.
Oh man,
you know, like it's kind of
the ears.
Yeah,
definitely.
The teeth.
Yeah.
No, they look super. I remember, like the monster designs on the show can be up and down. Sometimes they're like, that's really cool.
But this one is one of my favorites, and I love how they're not pulling on any old villains from any of the previous like Doctor Who, like. At all, like we've never seen Daleks, no Cybermen, no anything. These are all brand new characters, and this is probably one of my favorites so far.
And that's the great thing about it so far. Like it's like, all right, we're being original. We're not touching on anything else, and we're starting new. We have a new Doctor, and we have a very new type of Doctor. So we want a very new type of show. Right. And we see that even in how it looks.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing that really draws me in every time. The lush landscapes, the choices that they're doing.
And the poppies that they had, where it's very specific flowers, so very specific area.
Man.
Like, I thought it was absolutely
And it's like,
gorgeous.
so I'm looking like, okay, have we not had an episode where they have not been on location? Because every episode, they're not on sound stages.
No.
Everyone is, okay, here we are. Well, and you're like, oh, wait, are you in India? Yes, we are. What?
Arguably,
I look it up. Like, you're actually in India? This is crazy.
Arguably last episode, which was in the spaceship.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for, you know what? Good night.
No. But like that's like standard Doctor Who, right?
They do kind of go from space to Earth, and they kind of do.
Yeah.
They're switching it up, which I think is really good. And this one in particular, like, not even the monsters, the setting, but the family connection I thought was super
great.
interesting. And they've been going with this with Graham and with Ryan for some time now. But we finally learned a little more about Yaz, which I really loved.
Oh yeah,
no, definitely. I will say that like Graham and Ryan's relationship is one of the real things that's real compelling this season.
Yeah.
But the thing about like Yaz's storyline is that like it's like I didn't like when they decided to leave. Why they decided to join the Doctor. I really love that episode. Yes. It was like, basically it was like Graham was like, I'm grieving. I don't want to be at my house.
Yeah. Yes.
Ryan and Grace would have wanted him to have an adventure and to not be scared as well.
I need you to go out and do more.
Yeah. And then Ryan is like, I'm dealing with the same thing. I gotta go too. And then Yaz is like, have you met my family? And that's great. I have nothing against that. But it's really cool that like here it's like, but there's more to it than that.
Yes.
There's more to Yaz than just my family drives me nuts. Which is partially a Rose thing, partially a Martha thing.
Well, the thing is, it's like when you have family that's always that close.
Yeah.
Like almost all the time they're celebrating something, they're always close to each other, everyone's in the same house. After a while, you are gonna be that individual that stands out and says, you know what, I just can't take this anymore.
Right.
Everyone's too close. I need you guys to leave.
Which is different in this episode where we have her nanny like giving away these kind of like family heirlooms. And it shows kind of a different side where Yaz is like, I want to know the stories behind this. And, her nanny's just like, I'm not comfortable sharing that.
Right.
And I feel like every single family across the board will have some sort of secrets that you just don't share. And it's like, my family has that too. So it's just like, this episode in particular like really hit me where it's like my eyes were watering by the end. I was crying. And I absolutely love that. Like the whole message of Doctor Who in this episode in particular, the Doctor says that, the most powerful weapon of all is love. Yeah. And that really came across.
It's true. It's true.
Well, especially because, like, like, growing up with, like, I'm a second-gen family. I don't know if, like, your family was... I don't want to assume else, but, like...
Oh, yeah, I'm fourth generation.
Okay,
yeah. Same.
So it's, like, the idea that, like, like our family who like left their country to come to another country and like what they leave behind, what they don't talk about is really like on point in this episode. And I would like I said, like I'm sitting there going like, got it, you nailed it.
My thing is like that's very interesting and I love that. But the thing is like, all right, when it came to Yaz and Prem and all of them, it was like, okay, so I wrote something down and I was just thinking about it where it was like hate may be as forceful as love, but not as strong. Right. Or is it? Because in this case, ultimately, hate was a driving force that got Prem killed. But with that, it was him being the embodiment of sacrifice, brought on by love.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
and passed down to the rest of the family.
Yes. So the thing is, it's like where hate was strong, here comes love to be stronger because of that choice of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's what's like, wow, that was amazing.
No, agreed.
And I love that, and that's was the theme of the episode, besides anything else.
Yeah, and I feel like that feeds a lot, and we kind of mention this every week, into current social issues.
Oh yeah.
That that we kind of deal with like on a micro scale and a macro scale as far as like government. And I don't know how far we want to dive into it this week because sometimes we go on long tangents, so we don't have to talk about it for that long.
Well, I was here for those other episodes.
But we should touch on it a little bit.
I wanted to touch on it because it's like, all right, the religious separation, the land-laid separation, it's so relevant. Like we got Brexit, we got here in the U.S., we got Mexico versus Mexico versus the U.S. when it comes to the border thing. We have the caravan things going on, but it's like, are we getting too preachy, or are we finally addressing issues that matter on Doctor Who?
This is the thing I love about this season, is that it was almost as if like it was conscious, where it's like we have our first female Doctor. If we're doing this, it can't just be
you have
that.
to talk about the social issues, not only sexism, racism, any kind of xenophobia or just hatreds in there.
Good sci-fi, when good sci-fi is good, it's when it tells us what society's problems are, or what it is that we're afraid to reflect on it without feeling preachy by the normal dramatic manner. So
and I feel like they weave it into the stories so the morals and the themes are not didactic. They're not in your face. They're not preaching to you, but it is there every step of the way.
Agreed. No,
sure.
Because even with the monsters, you're like, oh yeah, the demons, they're gonna kill everyone, and you find out no, they're there to mourn. So it subverts your expectations every step of the way, which I love about this writing.
No, agreed. It's especially it's like kind of remind me of the Rosa Parks episode.
Oh,
which I won't point out. I was so nervous about.
Whoa.
We all were.
Definitely, we were freaked. Like, okay, how far are we gonna go with this? I'm waiting right here, and I'm like, do I get upset?
Sitting next to Daniel's like, I'm super curious.
I was texting an NAACP rep, like, okay, should I be upset at this moment? Should I not? Oh no, okay, we're good. We're good. Never mind.
No, same. I was at home, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I thought so too. But knowing that you actually like that episode too, being
Yeah.
having your heritage tied to it, like, that's way more impactful than
man.
just an immigrant or anyone just watching it.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
So the fact that you liked it, I was like,
man.
this writing has to be good. They are taking considerations. They're obviously having a lot of people look at the scripts to make sure that it comes across the way they want it to come across.
And it's cool that they're still doing it even here in an episode that's not about a historical famous figure.
Yes, but it's about a historical moment.
Yes.
And that's where the thing was interesting, and I've got to ask this question, because this is something that we kind of do, it's almost like the doctor's choice, like Sophie's choice.
Yeah.
And it's like, could you, knowing someone's fate, continue on being connected to that person and not ever tell them or warn them of their fate?
And I feel like in this episode in particular, not necessarily the doctor, it was Graham. When Graham had that moment and he was coming and he gives Graham the hug. And knowing, like, you can tell for a moment he steps back and he's like, let's go get married. You know? And I was just like, I'm already tearing up.
Dude, it was a lot. It was a lot for me. I just thought, like, at that moment, I was like, I feel it. And I get it.
Yeah, the whole thing coming together with, like, you know, talking about love and that these two cultures are coming together you know. And I like the ceremony, the wedding ceremony, where they had a little bit of the Hindi and a little bit, you know, like, I don't know the traditions, but, I mean, they kind of spelled it out for you.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, and so they had the Muslim and everything. And I thought that was great. And, like, this is, like, just a really small detail that I noticed only in this episode. And I don't know if the doctor's earrings change in every episode. But in this one, they had the gold and the silver hands holding.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Did you notice that? Is that every single episode? Oh, okay, just kidding.
Oh,
so
it was really prevalent in this. Where
it was. You could see it.
Yeah. Because we were talking about, like, in the first episode, what is she wearing? What
yeah, we couldn't
and
tell.
This was,
now
like,
it was like,
for
here
me,
it
the
is.
first time, like, up close.
Same.
I have
notes.
Funny.
I have notes about it, so it was like, oh my God, there it is. And it was like, I like that now we got to actually see them.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's so many things I do like about it, so many things I do have questions about. And one of them was, when it came to Manish, do you guys feel that he was fueled by the hate due to the loss of his brother, or the hate of just the rhetoric that was being pumped through that whole countryside that whole time while his brothers were gone? Which one was it?
I don't know if you could separate those, because the
See?
older brother died because of the war.
Exactly.
But also, when you have the government pumping all of this information, and you know, when you I think they have a line somewhere in there saying, like, when you focus on the differences, that becomes like the only thing you see.
Right.
Yes.
And I was like, it makes so much sense.
Well, so. I mean, because, you know, Manish, he was on his own. I said this while we were watching it. He's wearing his own MAGA hat, which was, you know, make India great again. Right. And that's what he was pushing for the whole time. But it was like, was that fueled by the loss of his brother? Like, you know what? If we actually won, or if this happened, I wouldn't have lost my brother, or we should have done this a long time ago and I wouldn't have lost my brother. Like, it feels like you said, they're kind of hand in hand, those two. So it's like, you can't separate them for him. But the problem was, it was like, the hate was so strong that you were willing to end your brother's life.
Yeah.
And it's because you missed the other brother.
Right.
And that's just, man, that's it's dark, it's harsh, and it's heavy.
And we see that a lot, like, just in conflicts in general, like, even in the United States, that we had, you know, the whole, like, North versus South and brothers fighting families against, like, this ideal, you know, like, about slavery, and it was more than that.
Yeah, right. No, but I get it. I get
blanket statement. But,
exactly.
like, you know, and we see this a lot, and I feel like it might come from, like, a personal belief, but a lot of it, I think, comes from external, and making sure that you kind of only keep the friends that share your same viewpoint, which I don't think is necessarily right. Like, I am generally liberal, but I like talking to conservatives just to see where they're coming from and to understand and to like I feel like understanding is kind of the first step in you know.
Well, no, but like proper talking is like kind of like a lost art nowadays, you know.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what the show is trying to do. Like, talk to,
absolutely.
like he's like, I need to talk to my brother, and it's like sowing these seeds of understanding. I feel like is what the show is trying to do.
No, agreed, and especially because like like it's such, like it's he's being fueled by. Like manages being fueled by like such complicated feelings and emotions that he just can't see the good that's still in his life, and that's what makes it really tragic. It's just like I'm seeing everything crumble around me, and I can't control any of it.
And here comes my one moment of control, which is the gun. Now I have it. Now I have power.
Right.
I've taken down the priest, and now I'm going to have to go ahead and take down my own brother.
Right.
This way, with it being done, here goes that control.
Right.
Here goes the thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's a shame that death has to be the thing that makes sense, where life is so far more abundant, and it's something that you can really appreciate and continue on with. He chose death.
Right.
And that's the thing too. Like when you demonize someone else, which is kind of what he's doing. It's like, no, you are not one of us. You don't belong in India. And like you start making that other person the demon, and then you're like, oh, you're on their side. So it makes it easier, which is
once again the word demon.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's like like even the doctor pre-assumed the alien race, and because of history and what he knows about
and
it.
then you guys are assassins.
Yeah.
And you like to murder people.
Yeah, this is what I've learned, and here they are pointing like, nope, not anymore.
No,
But she
people
listens,
things-
and that's the thing. Like,
Yes.
lets them
true.
explain,
That's
and it's
true.
like this is everything that has happened, and yes, we understand that's the way it used to be, and because of that, this is how we've changed.
Exactly.
And I was like, I love these messages.
Yeah.
They're in your face, but not exactly like in your face.
Yeah, like, well, people have the ability to change, and so does everything else. Change is the only constant in the universe. So that's what you're going to see. And it was like, great. And with that change, if they learn, good.
Yeah.
And if they don't, hopefully someone can teach.
Right.
And that's the one thing that Manish wasn't open for, to be taught.
Yeah.
And it was just like, he
Unfortunately.
closed everything off. And I've got to say something, though. Just moving on to a bit of the show, the part that I have to deal with when it comes to time travel and everything like that, I'm going to have to ask, how does the grandmother not remember Yaz?
Well, you know.
Okay.
I was saying the Marty McFly thing too. Like, is that where she got her name from, at least?
Yeah,
They
like
don't
the
bring it
grandmother
up.
say, you got to name her Yaz. You know, there was this woman that tied my hands for the blah, blah, blah. Like, that was the thing, because when we were talking earlier, our producer was saying, like, well, why? I mean, you met her just for one day, and it was pretty quick. But I was like, she was there for a monumental moment in your life.
She was the first woman married in Pakistan.
Well, not even that. No, I mean, well, she was the first woman married in
Yeah, I
Pakistan.
know, but that's like a
Yaz
momentous occasion in your brain.
True.
You remember all these details.
But the thing is, when you think about it personally, on a personal level, this person was there at my wedding where barely anyone else was. I'm going to remember every person at my wedding if it's only 5 or 10 people. And then on top of that, she had a very integral part when she tied my hands for the thing that is a big tradition. So now it's like, oh, wow. It's like I'll always remember the person that brought the ring over. You know? I'll always remember the person that did that. It's like I remember my ring bearer. I still do right now. You know, I was married. I remember my ring bearer.
What were they wearing?
Oh, actually, I know exactly what he's wearing. He was wearing a little suit, and it was lavender and pink.
Right.
He was a
Lavender,
little boy.
nice.
I remember. Yeah, we picked it up.
Yeah, right
so,
on.
but I remember all of that. So this is the thing. You remember this stuff because it's important to you.
Right.
So how does she not remember? But then again, a lot of stuff was happening in the meantime, and her husband died.
Right.
Yeah. In a really
So that
dramatic,
can make you, and
dramatic way.
that can make you kind of, that can make
overshadowed
you, yes.
everything else.
And I think that's probably why she forgot,
Yeah.
hey, I passed her by because my husband died.
Right.
That makes sense.
And you know, wibbly wobbly timely wimey. But
Exactly.
like,
She's known Yaz since she was a baby.
yeah.
Well, yes, true.
But you never like think about like, whoa, there was this one woman and you look, it's an
Just
uncanny
like her.
resemblance.
It's uncanny that you just happen to pass by and now I remember you.
But also,
That's
how many
what I'm
years
saying.
ago was that? Like,
That's true.
Oh, well,
And she moved,
yes.
she moved to a
Decades.
lot of different places too. So I mean,
And
it
she got
is
married again.
She got
too.
married again,
All
and,
right,
like,
fine.
just-
Our producer's correct. Fine, you're right.
But yeah, we were kind of talking about that too, as far as like predictions at the beginning. We're like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wonder what's going to happen if they are going to have to go back to the specific place in time to make sure that Yaz would be born. And they kind of touch on it, but that ended up not being a big thing.
No.
But one of the predictions that you had that I thought was interesting, you thought Graham was going to die in this episode.
I really thought
I
okay,
did not
this is
want
the
him
thing.
to overshadow.
This is the thing. We are counting down. I'm sorry if you don't
Graham,
know it, but we're counting down to Graham's
you guys
death.
are predicting a Graham death?
Because okay, the
We
reason
need Ryan to acknowledge Graham as his grandfather
And
because he's
also-
dying, and do the fist bump because he was denied in the other episode.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He's not giving him the fist bump, and he's not calling him grandfather. But I think it will happen when he sacrifices himself
Mm-hmm.
for Ryan. Then he'll be like, okay, blah, blah, grandfather.
But what did you
as
think
he's
in this
dying.
episode? At what moment were you like, Graham's gonna die? I
Actually,
forgot what
when it was showing the face of Prem at first,
Uh-huh.
I thought
Oh,
it
you
was,
thought it was
I
gonna
thought
be
it-
Graham.
I thought it was gonna be here goes Graham, and I was like, no! Like I thought that was it. I really thought that was. And then it showed Prem.
Like, there's no way
No,
they're
there's
gonna
no way. And then,
overshadow
nope.
like the
No.
grandmother's
Exactly.
death.
No.
I thought
It's
it was
gonna be a
like,
specific
man.
Graham
It's-
and Ryan episode.
Yeah.
That
I was
happens.
like, here it comes, but nope.
No, this is definitely Yaz's episode.
Yes,
through and through,
yeah.
So no.
All right,
So that didn't
fine.
happen.
But okay, do you think that this will our kind of prediction that we're running with?
Will
do
Graham-
you kind of agree with it? Do you
And you
see
guys
it
in
as
the
something?
chat, if you have any future predictions,
No.
let us know.
Yes, please.
You know, it's weird. Like I didn't think of it as an option.
Okay.
To be fair, it's
Oh, interesting.
mostly because I figure, like I don't know how long we're gonna hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
To be fair,
And I'm not looking ahead, so.
I'm not looking too much ahead. So I will say if we kill Graham this season, might be too soon.
I think it is too, because we're already halfway through.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
the 10 episodes, and we are not getting a Christmas special
Right.
this year, and we are so bitter about that. But we went on like a 10-minute rant last time. Our producer's like,
Did he? How
yeah,
long
so-
was he holding the next topic sign?
but
He
yeah.
literally threw it at you.
So I
I'm
don't
gonna
think-
throw something in there.
So I don't
alright.
think we're still getting acquainted with all of our companions and the
Right.
Doctor. So I don't think it'll happen this season, but I do think it is gonna happen.
You think that's a high possibility? You both think it's a high possibility.
Definitely.
And you guys in the chat, do you agree with us? Do you agree with Justin?
Yeah, but what I am loving is our connection to the characters.
Yeah.
And how quickly we are becoming connected to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love Ryan. I love, like, even Prem, just for this episode. I love the Prem.
And you're
Also,
like, damn, that guy is handsome.
dude, I looked at Prem and I was like, dude,
Good-looking man.
I go to a club, he goes to a club, he's cleaning house. And I'm sitting there like, whatever he leaves behind, I'm like, hi, how you doing? I'm Prem's friend. Like, literally. Because Prem just looks like, yo, I walk in, I just say hello. And everyone flocks to me. Look at this guy. God. Tall, dark, and handsome. Like, this guy is killing it.
Should I leave?
Young man.
Should I leave you alone?
Everyone leave.
But
Prem
Young
needs to
Nanny
be
was
alone.
really pretty too. Like the casting.
Oh
like,
my
she's
God!
Oh, yeah,
gorgeous.
She was amazing, dude. Bombshell. And I'm
Yeah.
just sitting here and like, wow, I have to rethink my decisions on how I look because it's like everyone they're casting is just beautiful,
Yes.
and they're not trying to do it where it's like, here, we're just gonna throw these beautiful people in your face. They just happen to be good looking, and it's like, dude, this is killing me here, man. Look at them. That is a beautiful couple.
Yeah.
That's my royal couple. That's my prince and princess from now on. Forget about what we saw happen. That's what I'm looking for. That's my royal wedding. God, man, they look amazing. I'm
They
sorry.
Not disagreeing. No,
I'm
not
just
wrong.
saying.
We got some love. You guys have as
Yeah.
much love in the chat.
Yes, exactly. The chat's kind of quiet. They're like,
It
oh
is.
man,
They're like, oh, we'll let you-
We're
we'll
just
let
sitting
you
here
go
and
down.
listen to anything you guys have to say. We're in. I'm like, thank you guys. I
All right,
appreciate
fair
it.
enough.
So, big moments for you, or biggest moment in your opinion?
For sure, like obviously the big Manish confrontation at the end is it just builds up to that, but even just like fun stuff, like no, like obviously like when the Doctor asks, I need these things
Yeah, and then
to build these things.
and then the biscuit where it's just like, I just want it.
Yeah.
I like biscuits.
The end. I like biscuits.
Yeah,
And
I
I
was
was
like,
like, yeah,
it's
can't
so
disagree.
endearing. It makes me love her so much.
See, they made a big deal about Graham getting like with the mule spit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My question is, how'd you find the chicken poo?
You just scrape it up.
We had this
You
conversation.
did,
Go
and
ahead.
I was like, I would rather get the chicken poop because spit you gotta like coax out of the animal. The poop you just like fall around and
Right.
pick it out of the dirt.
Right.
What did Ryan say he didn't want to grab?
Like
he said no to one.
Oh, he said no for chicken poo.
True, no, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
he's like,
no on chicken poo.
He's like, no chicken poo. I was like,
I
all
mean,
right.
because that's what we were talking about too. I was like, if there's enough chickens, you're gonna find chicken poop. But
Right.
if there's only one and you gotta chase it around and wait for it to poop, like that'll be a struggle.
Oh, it's
But,
like- work.
Okay, to be fair, yeah, I
You're
think
feeding it, like,
finding
here, keep
chicken
eating.
poo will probably be easier than getting mule
like you
spit.
just go to
Yeah.
chicken coop and you're like, there it is.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
Fail.
Right?
All right, just scoop it up and then
Right?
put it in my bowl. Anyway, so no, that was fun, and I've always like that's a chance for the Doctor to do Doctor stuff.
Now, interesting in the chat right now, Stephen Braybrook says the grandmother knew about Yaz. That's why she was her favorite and gave her the watch.
See, that's a good theory.
That
Oh, I
is.
do like that
That
theory.
is.
theory.
That is. And then so that would be kind of interesting where she tells her, okay, well, do you want to know the story? And she says, no. Does that kind of debunk the theory?
No.
Or does that kind of playfully
no.
I know it's you?
Here's the thing. I think that could work both ways. Because it's no, and she I'll find out later. Which that's Yaz's Nan going you will. You will.
Or you already did.
At some point.
I know you.
At some point you will know.
Yeah, right?
Clearly not now, but at some point you will know. So that doesn't work in both ways. That's actually kind of cool.
It does.
Good call.
Did you happen to have any favorite moments that we haven't mentioned?
Well, no, the one at the end that we were kind of actually just talking about, I kind of thought it was understanding, which is why I was tearing up, because we have this moment that I don't know if I should talk about this on here, but it was a very similar thing. In our family, my grandparents had, a bunch of kids, and one of them died. No one talks about it. Nobody talks about it. The only reason I know is I overheard this at Thanksgiving when I was a kid.
Wow.
But no one will bring it up. But I know. I will just never bring it up with my grandmother. When she asks, how many kids do you have? 5. That's it. I will never bring up, hey, you had another one.
Right?
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that understanding that, this is a painful moment for you. Her husband died. I'm not going to bring that up now. I just want to cherish this moment with you. It is not necessary to discuss it. I know what happened. You know what happened, but we don't need to bring it up now.
No.
And that's how I took that at the end.
Oh, nice. I get it. That actually makes so much sense. It connects.
It's an understand. It's you don't have to tell me. You already said you don't want to talk about it. It's painful. I get it. So I was oh.
Cool.
So family too, I was hey, it's an understanding. You love this person. It doesn't matter how you got it or, if you tell me the truth or not. Because even Graham was how much do you really know about your family? How much do you really know the truth? And it doesn't matter.
That was interesting when Graham said that, because the thing is, when he said that,
is he
yes, that's what I was wondering. That's what I was wondering. I was when Graham said that, and I was because he says we, and he makes sure to make it completely inclusive.
Yes.
Right. And that's why I was stopping for a moment, and I said, no, Graham, let's pause for a moment. What secrets do you have?
Right.
That's what I want
and about
know.
Grace too, of maybe
yes!
that she wanted to tell Ryan, and he is just waiting for that moment to be your grandmother wanted you to know this. About your family or about your father or about anything else.
Oh, definitely. And Ford Jr. is saying right off the bat, I know I'm late, but I think Yaz would have been so proud of Prem to be her grandfather.
Yes, I think so too.
Definitely, man. Come on, I would have been proud of him.
You're proud of him, and you're not even part of this. You have more love for Prem than anyone.
I am lamenting for this guy right here. I'm when they walked away and you heard that gunshot, I was
oh my God,
I cried a little bit. I felt it in my soul.
And that's the thing too, they had to walk away and not really mourn for him at the moment, because that's the whole reason why those Vajarians? I don't remember their names exactly.
Thank you.
Vajarian.
The Vajarians were there. And
let's not laugh at that for a moment. Yes, there you go. There you go.
But,
you stay over there. Star Wars is coming up soon.
Star Wars is coming up next, so please stay tuned after this.
That's right. Right on Facebook, it's going to be great Star Wars fanatics.
Anything else you want to talk about Prem? Dan, just go ahead, let it
out.
I
mean, look at him. Wait, that picture right there. Can I go back to that picture of Prem? I don't. Look at that. I just he's just sitting there hello.
He looks very princely.
Get on my whatever this thing is. And I was I don't care. We're going somewhere. He's my doctor. Let's go on an adventure, Prem. That's all I was saying. He's the next doctor. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're going to do. She's going to choose that face for the next doctor. Capaldi was a guest star. Prem could be our next doctor.
Colin Baker was a guest star before he began. No,
it's
not.
The doctor chooses things, and remember, Capaldi even said it. I chose his face to remember, to be reminded. Maybe Prem is something that I can always remind myself that love conquers all.
Then you can't be on that show anymore, because I feel like you're just going to talk about his face nonstop for the entire stream.
It's a separate show.
Every week, and it's just we should do an after dark on that one, though. that way you let out your true feelings.
Should knock down your mics and run away. Leave me alone. Prem and I will run away together. No. But I'm sorry, the episode was good. It was heavy. It was heavy, but still nonetheless, like I said, heartwarming.
Good message.
It was heart-wrenching in moments, gut-wrenching in moments, but still nonetheless, like I said, the connection for every character was there. Look, there we are. Look at us.
Oh my God, you guys look good together. future.
Look at me. I'm already getting dressed to get married. It's going to be amazing.
It'll be a future show.
I like that.
Daniel,
Right?
I like
Daniel and
that.
Prem.
Daniel and Prem. That's it. Prem's like, I'm not even a doctor. It doesn't matter. Let's
Matter.
go.
No, we'll keep talking about
I've got a TARDIS. Let's
Talk
go.
about every second of this
Exactly.
episode.
I'm like, look around me. I've got a TARDIS. Let's go.
Like, you don't even have a TARDIS. You're going to have a van. You just open up the door and be like, come in. And then you just drive away. This got really dark. We should talk about
To
this.
random
We should talk
people.
about this.
To random people. Get in. Let's go. Run. And I just drive off. They always run the opposite direction.
Look for him on the nightly news.
Oh, come on.
If
If you see this man, don't believe him. He does not have a TARDIS. It's just a van.
Then he painted blue.
This turned really weird.
It's a really weird,
turned
really
very
dark.
weird.
And yet we are talking about future episodes. Let's talk about something concerning the future. Predictions. What do you guys think is going to happen coming up for within the season?
Well, obviously we have Yazis. We know in this particular episode, and we learned a lot about Ryan and his parents. We need a Graham episode. We need
getting
to
a
know
Graham
how he
episode.
met Grace, how he came into this life, like what he was doing.
man.
We know a little bit about how they met and all this other stuff. Like she was the doctor for him when he was like in cancer recovery
He's
or
a nurse.
remission.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was a nurse, and so we know a little bit how they met. But I would like to know more about Graham.
Yeah. No.
I hope we get an episode like that.
Man, I think we will, and it's going to be one where Graham finally gets to be called grandfather. Maybe he won't die, but he will be called grandfather.
No.
That would be a good
There you
development.
go.
Like we're
There
gonna
you
get
go.
that. Probably this season we'll probably get.
Oh, we're
Ryan
gonna
and
get it. We're gonna
acknowledge
get
If
the
it's
fist
not
bump,
at least
we're
the
gonna get
10th, when we get to the last episode.
If it's not at least episode 10.
Should have been the Christmas special. It really should have been the Christmas special. I'm gonna harp on this for at least the next 4 weeks. Every single week, I'm gonna bring up the Christmas special.
Oh my god. No Christmas special isn't correct. It's not right. And it kind of pisses me off, and a lot of people are upset with it too.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, New Year's is always something special, but we're not getting anything for New Year's either. So no, that doesn't help. So
Do we
it's
actually
like,
know when the
that's
show
it.
is gonna come back?
I have no clue.
We just have 10 episodes for
Yeah.
this
That's it.
series, and
That's
this
it.
is all we know. So I do believe that we will get a Graham episode
We will.
within these next few episodes.
Oh no, they're guaranteed. No doubt.
Oh, well, Ryan, that's a good question.
Sure.
Will you want to see other doctors do like a good team up?
Not now.
With this doctor, will you want to see another doctor with her?
I honestly not now.
Not right now?
I
It's
want,
too early.
Too early. I would say 2 years with no real.
Oh.
I want like.
And it's true because this is all new monsters. They're
Yep.
trying to create a whole new like story arc for everyone. They're not going to bring in anyone old for this series in
Okay,
particular.
do you think end of season 2 she runs into Missy?
That would
though
be
Missy-
interesting.
but Missy's
or,
dead.
Or River at
But
some
Missy
point.
is dead. So
Timey-wimey. You
know,
know,
where we are in the timeline, that's the thing. Missy may run into her.
Here's the
Oh,
thing.
here it is.
So was like John Sims Master, and then like here-
Exactly.
So first off, that's the only one I want to see come back.
Oh, really?
I love Missy.
Missy
Yeah.
is so much
And
fun.
I'm gonna. And
She is so sassy.
She's busy working right
Exactly.
now, though, so I don't know.
she'll have time to fit in between Sabrina. So it's
At least like a small cameo at some point in
yeah,
one of the episodes
yeah.
would be brilliant.
It would be interesting if she's like, so I influenced you. You know, it's
Yeah.
one of those like,
Oh, no.
you made the choice I made.
Yeah.
You know?
she has to address that.
Right?
Yeah, I think it would.
Absolutely.
And she's like,
Especially in this episode where she's like, "Oh, when I was a guy, I never did this." It's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, wait, regeneration." Ha ha ha.
I think
Jokes.
it would be one of those. It would be one of those lines where she looks at her and she goes, I guess we
Yeah.
are the future. You know, future,
Yeah.
feminine, blah, blah, blah.
That's
Something
either-
like that, and you're like, I get it.
That would be
now
a
let's
good
move
interaction.
on. Yeah.
That's the other thing I'm liking about Jodie's version of the Doctor right now is that the Doctor's always excited about the body that the Doctor is currently in.
Right.
And so the idea that here, now she's like, I've never been a woman.
Yeah,
Like, this
yeah.
is great. Like, I'm like so stoked now.
Just wait.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that.
There'll be moments where they treat her like wrong, and she's like, I'm gonna kill everyone. How dare you? You know, just because I'm a woman, you did this. Like, oh, it's gonna be great.
You know what? To go to Ryan's question, the only other Doctor I wouldn't mind having her team up with, it's only because he actually hasn't teamed up with another Doctor. I would like to see him team up. See Paul McGann come
Paul
back
McGann.
in a real team up.
Oh.
He's my doctor.
Yeah.
He's my
That's
doctor.
nice.
See the thing, like I said,
Look at him. The man's beautiful. That long hair.
when I saw the Fox movie, like the first thing I knew was like, I like him. I don't know what this is though.
Yeah, that's how it was. That's how it was. I was sitting there ready to watch X-Files that night, and then they were like, no, a special presentation. And I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
What is this? What is this? Who is this guy? What's going on? But it was good. I loved it. So I would love to see him actually team up. You're right.
Yeah.
That would be a good
Because
one.
McGowan hasn't really teamed up with anybody. It, like in like a filmed episode scenario.
Here's a question.
Sure.
Do you think this, the potential of a team up would be enough for Eccleston to show up?
I feel like Eccleston is.
Do you think he's like,
crazy.
I hate everything, I'm done with it? You don't think he'd be like, sure, this is big enough.
I don't know what will it do to convince Chris, because if he couldn't come back for the 50th,
Right?
I don't know what it'll be to convince him right now. So he's just Eccleston's gonna be Eccleston. He's gonna
That's
do
it.
his
It's
thing.
just a forget it, I'm never coming back.
If he shows up, great. Don't expect it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's true.
All right.
Yeah.
For you, who would you want to see mash up?
Oh
with-
man, go ahead and just make it Matt Smith. He's like, well, he's working on showing up on some other film or whatever.
He's
Just
in
make
Star
a show.
Wars.
Yeah, there you go.
Which will be Star Wars Fanatics after this episode. Don't forget.
That's right.
Man,
right on
promoting
Facebook. Heck on that thing. You guys, if you're not doing anything, which you shouldn't be doing, you head over to Facebook and you check out Star Wars Fanatics. Trust
that
me,
at
it's
9
going to
o'clock?
be an amazing show.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. 8-ish.
8-ish.
Timey-wimey. Listen, it'll be on tonight.
Trust me. Oh, man. Oh, that green milk is going to flow, and they are going to be going for it. Trust me, it's going to be amazing. Green or blue? Which one is it?
Both.
It's
Is it
both.
good?
Both.
That's
Yeah.
scary already. Just saying that's both.
I would want to see her
that.
meet up with River, and if we have like the Husbands of River song, I think it would be an interesting thing to
I
be
would-
like, "Hello,
yeah.
sweetie," and be like, "Do I know you?
Do I know you?
I don't." But I mean, her timeline
Well, see,
is
it's
also
River-
kind of done.
It's
but,
River, and River's so smart, River would know.
Yeah.
River would know. She'd look and be like,
But still, be
Sweetie?
like, "Oh, this is what you chose now." Or,
It would be
you know,
cool if River be like, because that's like Jodie's not in her book,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at all.
so that would
As
be
far
cool.
as we know.
Yeah, as far as we know, that's true. But at the very least, it would be cool for River to for River to not be ready for a doctor thing.
Yeah.
Because she's always on top of it.
yes.
So it would be
Because she knows everything that happens with the doctor's journal that he gave her. So.
exactly.
I'm telling you, so
Yeah.
that's why I think she'd be like,
well,
oh.
she knew that Peter was.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
she did. She did.
Yeah,
That's true.
take that back.
See? As I'm telling you, she would know.
Yeah.
And
She would
she'd
know.
be like,
Yeah.
hey, sweetie. And she's like, wait, so you knew? And she's like, I always know. She's like, I always
That
know.
would be fun too.
Yeah.
Like, but I would love to.
It's
see
like they
that.
always say, the wife always knows everything else. So it's like, she'd be like, I always knew.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it would be like, all right, now it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it would
and
be
now
a
they
good-
go
that
on
would
these
be
It'll be
adventures.
one good adventure, and I would love it. I also would love to see. Now the question is, what companion would you like to see her cross paths with that we've seen before?
Oh man,
my last question I
That's a hard one. Do you have an answer for that? Since
Yeah.
you
Clara.
like,
Clara?
Clara.
But
I
Clara's
think
everywhere. Clara already
those two.
crossed all
No, but I
the-
think those two would clash. Because Clara already, we saw that she clashed with Capaldi,
Capaldi a
over the
lot,
fact that he
yes.
wasn't Smith, he wasn't Matt Smith. Then
Right.
she would clash with her over the fact that you're not Capaldi. That's it. Clara is this kind of person that sticks on. This is what I like. This is what I
but
love,
it's so
and
weird
I hate
because she
everything
like
else.
held every single iteration of the Doctor.
Exactly.
Which, I love Clara. Fell off the Clara bandwagon, and then
Sure.
her exit I thought was good. It brought me back.
I was so
Clara,
happy. No, I was so happy with her
I'm
exit.
kind of done with Clara.
I'm
She-
good with Clara, honestly. Yeah.
So for you, what companion would you hope? Would you want?
Would I
for your
want?
doc-
The only closest thing I would do for me is like a surprise help from the Ponds.
in the past somewhere.
Somewhere, maybe older. You don't have to get Karen and Arthur back, but maybe some older couple in New York helps her out
shoot.
in a thing.
I like that. I
Something like that, like a quick thing to not break the whole like BS they came up with for her. The Doctor not come back, but just like something like that would be kind of cool. I think that'd be really great. You know what? It'd be weird because technically they're not a companion, but I think it'd be kind of cool if you brought Sally Sparrow back.
Dang, I thought you were going to say me.
Well,
I thought you were going to
actually,
say me.
we were kind of talking about. Well, in my opinion,
I love this.
the
Oh,
Ponds.
that's great.
Oh yes,
That's
We're-
great.
that is such a good
Man.
image.
I would like
That is.
That's a
Is
pretty
that
I got
Osgood
that,
on the
actually.
bottom? That's like blocked by the
Ye-
banner and stuff too.
Well, like Osgood's also.
She's-
Oh no, Osgood's
yeah,
over
right to
there.
the
Yeah,
right.
there we go.
Oh, there we go.
The
Oh
one
no,
who
Yaz
was-
and Bill.
Bill.
And, yeah,
Ah.
Donna, Clara.
That's good.
Where is me?
Where is
Well,
you?
We
No,
will,
no, what's her name? Me. I mean, her name
Oh,
is me.
yeah.
Her- my
Macy
name
Williams?
is me. Yes. Because that's someone I would love to see go head to head with Jodie.
That would be
That's
cool.
what I would love.
Yeah.
I
Gee,
would
that
love
would
to
be
see her
cool.
go head to head with
That would
Jodie.
be so
But
much
she's
fun.
not because she's in a cafeteria floating around, a diner flying around
With
with
Clara.
Clara. So.
But I mean, they're also able to manipulate stuff for
Oh,
the story. That's the whole
definitely.
thing about being able to
Definitely.
like travel through
Time
space
travel.
and time.
We can make it
is
any
you
way
can
it
make
works.
anything
Yes,
happen.
yes.
This could be at any point of Me's long life spanning. That's the great thing about that character.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? Here's one that I've always thought would be kind of cool. Getting the Doctor's daughter back. Jenny.
Oh my God, are you serious?
That would be neat.
That would be epic.
That would be
that would
neat.
be
She's just
epic.
off doing whatever she
Yeah,
wants.
she is.
You know?
That's it. Oh, jeez.
That would be cool.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a really good one.
Oh my God! Now I
always thought about that one.
I wish you could flesh that out and put it together how it would actually work. God. All right. Well, I think right now we've covered everything.
I know. Is there anything else you want to talk about in the chat? And, even though we're wrapping up, you can always post in, was it THS hashtaggers? On
THS
Facebook?
hashtaggers on Facebook. You can go ahead and hit us up and let us know your thoughts on the episode. Maybe we didn't cover something the way you wanted it to be discussed and you have a lot more to say. Go ahead and say it there. Trust me, we will respond and we will talk back to you.
We might bring it up next week and just talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a problem. We'd love to talk about it.
I'll even bring it up at Henshin. It's the wrong show, but I'll talk about it there.
I mean, we've been talking about Star Wars all night, so why not?
We'll walk on to the Star Wars set and we'll talk about it there.
Before I talk about Comrade, let me talk about that one thing in Doctor Who real quick. All right, now moving on to Comrade.
Okay. Like, what is a show? It's not what I signed up for. But who cares? I mean, we will. Yeah. We'll talk about it. That's how we do. We're a big family here, and we like to talk about almost everything covered in geek pop culture. So that's where you can do it. And if you're ever interested, you can always go to that#show.com and keep up to date with everything that's trending there. I mean, if you want to talk about Doctor Who, you want to talk about Power Rangers, you want to talk about what else?
Marvel,
everything.
DC. We have exclusives. Everything on there.
Shoot, that's what's amazing about it.
Riverdale.
We'll even talk about Sabrina because I am so ready to talk about that right now. So, I mean, anyway, anything you want to talk about, we'll talk about. Yeah. Also, if you want to talk about clothing, we'll talk about it too. For example, this shirt.
Oh, this one's actually
that's
not
right.
on.
I know.
Sorry.
That's
your shirt is there, though.
But it is. The shirt that I'm
not the one you're wearing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, you can always be a teabagger, guys. It's always great to do that and just sign up because it's kind of naughty. And that's the great thing about it. I don't play on words. But you can always do that. Or, since we've been talking about Star Wars so much, there is the famous I find the lack of selfie kind of disturbing. So you can always get that shirt. I think it's smart. I think it's quick. I think it's quirky. Go ahead and get one of those too. So with that, I think we want to say goodbye to everyone here from Gallifrey. Out to you guys. Well, of course, Justin, new companion. That's right. I'm Daniel, just another companion, and of course, our doctor.
I'm Elle. And hopefully we will see Justin again soon.
Yes, I'm invited. I'm invited back to the TARDIS.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, in fact, hey, you're a friend. Do you want to travel with us?
Always.
All right, there we go. Just got a new companion, guys. So we'll be traveling around the TARDIS. And
I'll be available for specials and like crossover things. Yeah.
There you go.
You have to come to our Christmas special. We're going to act on our own I make this up.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to act on our own Christmas special.
Yes.
Yes! I'm there.
And it will be fanfic, and we'll be acting it out right there.
If you have any ideas to submit, please submit them now. We'll write them in. You can make a special guest appearance.
If you happen to be in the LA area, you can do that. It will be fanfic theater for our Christmas special. Yes. That's what we'll do.
Score.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my gosh. What did you guys think of the episode? I mean, right now, in the moment, we're learning that Ryan Earl Thomas said that he would give it a 5. Or at least 5 sonic screwdrivers.
Like 5 out of 5?
Yeah, I guess so.
5 of these?
5 of those? 5 of those?
So wait, that's what would you... I haven't seen my score yet, so...
I actually want to give this one a 5, and I feel like most of the episodes this series, I feel like with the exception of the spider, the arachnids in space, arachnids in UK, that one was a little bit weak, but all these other ones, I gotta give it a 5.
Yeah.
This one had so much and it was heavy, so I'm definitely giving it a 4. I think there were some parts that it was lacking, and
but
maybe it could be stronger.
Your prince didn't push it.
That's why he pushed it up. He pushed it up to the 4. Okay. And I was like, yeah, look at that. Come on. The only problem why it's not a 5 is because he's not here right now.
Oh,
with me.
I can't fix that.
I'm sorry. So, sorry, guys. You get a 4. BBC, make it better. What about you?
First up, rough.
Yes. I want what I want.
I'll give this a 4.5. 4.5, and it's mostly because I think one of the things I'll say the overview of the series so far I'm liking is that it's kind of nice to watch Doctor Who and have the show be a little bit simpler. You know what I mean? Like
the easy kind of monster of the week, funsy.
There are things I love about the Moffat run, and there are things I do have problems with the Moffat run. And
Moffat started off good, I feel like.
I agree, and like part of my problem with the Moffat run is that eventually the writers, including him, just try to be too clever. And
they pulled more at the emotions than they did really doing with continuity and character development.
And they try to like one up themselves. And what I like about this season so far is
an overlapping story.
It's too much sometimes. So I like here. It's like, listen, we're gonna go to meet Rosa Parks. We're gonna have a base under siege episode. We're gonna have like some crazy other things,
Yeah.
and that's the story. And there's a smile through line with like a bad guy maybe, but don't worry about
Don't
it
worry
now.
about it. We'll see. We'll figure that out.
We're gonna have stuff about Yaz and her family, and etc. And I like that. That's where the direction of the season is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it allows me to just enjoy the characters, allows me to enjoy the story. And we get this episode, which is like got so much going on
It's
dramatically.
really deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
For an episode that has a little bit of sci-fi, and it's still there to just call it Doctor Who, there's so much heavy things going on. It was really well done.
Definitely.
Cool.
Bravo. So I think with that, it's time for us to say good night and goodbye from Gallifrey.
Yeah,
we'll sign off. We'll shut our satellites, and we'll go ahead and start up with Star Wars in just a bit. So make
Don't
sure that you
forget
guys.
to
I was going to say it. Yeah.
Like,
Make sure
share, and subscribe.
to stay up to date with everything trending.
In geek pop culture.